Hey everyone! What if I told you that a love story so perfect it could have been ripped from a romance novel ended up as one of the most jaw-dropping crimes in French history? Sounds unreal, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a true story from 1950s France that's got it all: passion, betrayal, and a twist that'll leave you questioning everything. I'm talking about the case of Yvonne Chevalier, a woman whose life went from fairy tale to nightmare in the blink of an eye. This isn't some made-up drama. It's 100% real. And trust me, you won't believe how it all plays out. A few weeks back, I told you guys about Guy Georges, that French serial killer who terrorized Paris. Crazy stuff, right? If you haven't seen that one yet, don't worry. I'll drop a link at the end so you can catch up. But today, we're switching gears and heading back to France for something totally different. This isn't about a monster lurking in the shadows. It's about a regular woman pushed to the edge by love and heartbreak. Picture this. A shy midwife from a poor family falls for a dashing war hero with big political dreams. It's the kind of romance you'd root for, until it spirals into chaos and bloodshed. We're going all the way back to the 1950s, a time when France was still healing from World War II, and society had some pretty strict rules about love, marriage, and loyalty. What happens when those rules get broken? That's what we're here to find out. So, grab a snack, get comfy, and let's unravel this roller coaster of a tale together. From a whirlwind romance to a courtroom showdown, this story's got more twists than a Hollywood thriller. Ready? Let's jump in. All right, let's set the stage for this wild story. Picture this. It's the early 20th century in rural France, about 75 miles south of Paris, in a little area near the city of Orléans. That's where our story begins with Yvonne Chevalier. Born in 1911, Yvonne came from humble roots, a poor farming family scraping by on the land. Life wasn't easy, but Yvonne had something special. She was smart, driven, and determined to make more of herself than the hand she'd been dealt. She worked hard in school and eventually landed a job as a midwife at the local hospital. Pretty impressive, right? But if you ask the people who worked with her, they'd tell you she was quiet, almost painfully shy. Yvonne wasn't the type to stand out in a crowd. She kept her head down and did her job. Fast forward to 1935. Yvonne's 24 years old, living her modest life, when bam, she crosses paths with Pierre Chevalier. Now, Pierre, he's a whole different story. 2 years older at 26, he's a medical student with big dreams and even bigger confidence. He's got that charm, that swagger, and, oh yeah, he comes from one of Orléans' most well-off families. Think old money, fancy dinners, the works. On paper, these two couldn't be more different. She's the reserved farm girl. He's the bold, polished guy from high society. But when they met, something clicked. Sparks flew. And I mean fast. Despite the gap in their backgrounds, they were drawn to each other like magnets. Here's where it gets crazy. Just weeks after meeting, Yvonne packs up her life and moves into Pierre's apartment. Weeks! That's how intense this connection was. You can imagine the whispers around town. What's a guy like him doing with a girl like her? But they didn't care. For Yvonne, Pierre was exciting. A window into a world she'd never known. For Pierre, maybe Yvonne was a breath of fresh air. Someone real in a life full of pretense. Whatever it was, this unlikely pair kicked off a relationship that was passionate, emotional and, spoiler alert, headed for some serious turbulence. But we'll get to that. For now, let's just say this was the honeymoon phase, where love felt unstoppable. Little did they know what was waiting down the road. Okay, so Yvonne and Pierre are this whirlwind couple, shacked up in Orléans, and for a minute, it's all roses. But then, boom, it's 1939, and the world goes haywire. World War II kicks off, and by 1940, the German army's rolling through France like they own the place. They take over most of the country fast, and Orléans, where our duo's living, isn't spared. It's not some massive metropolis, just the 10th biggest city in France, but it's got the Loire River, a natural line splitting the occupied north from the so-called free south. That makes it a hot target. German planes swoop in, dropping bombs left and right. Historic spots get wiped out, including a museum dedicated to Joan of Arc, Orléans' own hometown hero. The city's a mess, and life for Yvonne and Pierre? Total upheaval. Right in the middle of this, Yvonne gives birth to their first son, Matteo. Think about that. War's raging, bombs are falling, and she's bringing a baby into it. Pierre's this close to finishing med school, ready to be a doctor, but the war's calling louder. He doesn't sit it out. Instead, he joins the Free French movement, a scrappy little resistance group with just 7,000 members at the start, fighting the Nazis from the shadows. Pierre doesn't mess around, though. In Orléans, he steps up as a leader, running secret ops to throw wrenches in the German machine. Sabotage missions, sneaky attacks. He's all in, putting his life on the line while Yvonne's stuck at home, juggling motherhood in a war zone. Fast forward to 1944. D-Day hits, and the Allies are pushing back. That summer, Orléans takes more punishment, this time from Allied bombs aimed at cutting off German river crossings. By August 16th, 10 weeks after D-Day, Allied troops liberate the city. They roll in and find Pierre's been running a shadow government with a few others, keeping the fight alive under Nazi noses. The Free French movements exploded to 400,000 by now, and Pierre's a star. After the war, France showers him with praise. He gets the Legion of Honor, the nation's highest award, and then he's elected mayor of Orléans. From med student to resistance hero to city big shot, Pierre's killing it. But here's the catch. While he's out there shining, Yvonne's back home with Matteo, holding things together. The war's over, but for this couple, the real battle's just warming up. With the war behind them, you'd think Yvonne and Pierre could finally catch a break, right? Well, not quite. It's 1945, and France is picking up the pieces. Pierre's riding high off his war hero status, and the couple welcomes their second son, 2 boys now, Matteo and a new little guy. Life should be golden, but here's where things start to shift. Pierre's not content just being a doctor, or even the mayor of Orléans anymore. He's got his eyes on something bigger. Politics, with a capital P. He starts spending more and more time in Paris, chasing that dream, while Yvonne's left back in Orléans, raising the kids pretty much solo. 2 young boys, a big house, and a husband who's barely around. It's a lot. By 1950, Pierre's hustle pays off. He gets elected to the National Assembly, France's big league political scene. That means even more time at the capital. He's got an apartment there now, staying overnight all the time, living this whole other life. Picture him, handsome, sharp, working the room at fancy political events and swanky social gatherings. He's in his element, charming everyone he meets. And Yvonne? She's rarely by his side. When she does show up, it's awkward. People in Paris, those high society types, don't get her. They call her dull, out of touch, like she doesn't belong in their polished world. Pierre's this dashing figure, and she's just not. It's brutal, and you can bet Yvonne feels it. Back home, she's stuck. The kids need her. The house needs her. But Pierre, he's drifting further away every day. He's too busy being the golden boy of French politics to notice or care. Their marriage, once so fiery and full of promise, starts to feel like a shell. Yvonne's still in love with him, clinging to what they had. But it's clear Pierre's focus is elsewhere. The war made him a hero, sure, but it also set him on a path that's pulling him out of her reach. They're living separate lives now, one in the spotlight, one in the shadows. And that distance? It's about to crack wide open into something neither of them could have predicted. The fairy tale's fading fast, folks, and what comes next is gonna shake everything up. By 1951, Yvonne's world is hanging by a thread. Pierre's a big shot in Paris, barely home, and she's stuck in Orléans, raising their boys alone. Then, one spring day, a bomb drops. Not the wartime kind, but just as devastating. An anonymous letter lands in her hands, claiming Pierre's cheating. Yeah, you heard that right. Her war hero husband's got someone else. Yvonne's gut twists, but she's not one to just sit there. She tears through his stuff and finds it. A love letter tucked in a suit pocket. It's mushy, over the top. Without you, life has no beauty or meaning. And it's signed Jen. She knows exactly who that is. Geneviève Barreau, their gorgeous, brainy neighbor. Jen's married to Léon, a rich, older guy who owns a fancy department store, but he's always working, leaving her free to turn heads, including Pierre's. Yvonne's crushed, but she fights back. She tries to win Pierre over, reads up on art and politics, hits the salons for a makeover, buys nicer clothes. She's desperate to be the wife he'd want again. But Pierre? He's checked out. Doesn't even pretend to care. So, she spirals. Pills, booze, chain-smoking coffee. She's a wreck, barely sleeping, eyes sunken like she's haunted. Then she confronts him. He brushes her off, cold as ice. Next, she storms over to Jen's place. It's a screaming match. Moral jabs, marital guilt trips. But Jen doesn't budge. Yvonne even talks to Léon, Jen's husband, figuring he'd care. Nope. He shrugs it off like it's no big deal. Everyone's acting like she's the crazy one. At this point, Yvonne's a mess, popping amphetamines like Maxiton, chasing them with Veronal, anything to numb the pain. She's jittery, paranoid, and the gossip's everywhere. In Paris and Orléans, people know Pierre's stepping out. It's an open secret. She's losing him, and it's killing her. She tries one last time, takes a train to Paris to face him at the National Assembly. But get this, an usher blocks her, says Pierre's orders were clear. No entry. Humiliated, she slinks back home. Then she goes to Jen again, another blowout, all screams and tears. Nothing changes. Pierre comes back to Orléans eventually, but he's still a brick wall. Won't talk about it. Treats her like dirt. Yvonne's love's still there, burning. But it's one-sided now. She's breaking. And that desperation's about to push her over the edge into something dark and irreversible. All right. Things are about to hit the fan. It's summer 1951, and Yvonne's at her breaking point. Pierre's affair with Jen is tearing her apart, and she's a walking disaster, hooked on pills, barely holding it together. She decides she needs protection, maybe from the chaos in her head, maybe from something else. So she goes to the police, gets a gun permit, claiming Pierre's new government job makes her a target. Then she walks into a gun shop, cool as you like, and asks for something that'll kill in one shot. The owner hands her a MAP 7.65, a slick French semi-automatic. She buys it, grabs 25 rounds, and heads home. August 11th, 1951. Pierre's sworn in as Minister of Education, Youth, and Sports. Big day for him, right? The next day, August 12th, he's got a public gig at a county fair near Orléans. He tells his driver to swing by the house so he can change. He walks in, chats with the boys, heads upstairs. Yvonne sees her shot, not with the gun yet, but to save their marriage. She corners him, threatens to send the kids to boarding school, begs him to stay. "I can't love anyone else," she cries. "It kills me to see you with her." She's on her knees, pleading. "I'll change. I'll be better." Pierre's brutal. He says he's done, wants a divorce, wants Jen. Yvonne snaps. She grabs the gun from a linen closet, storms back in, aims it at herself first. "I'll kill myself if you leave." He laughs, tells her to go ahead, just wait till he's gone. That does it. She turns the gun on him, fires 4 times, chest, arm, thigh, chin. Blood everywhere. Their son Mateo bursts in, sees it all. She pulls him downstairs, hands him to the maid, then goes back and pumps a 5th shot into Pierre's back. Minutes later, she calls the cops. "Come quick, my husband needs you." She's arrested, charged with murder, locked up for over a year awaiting trial. The case moves to Rennes, 150 miles from Orléans, but the hype's insane. Front-page news across France, even hitting papers in Spain, Italy, the UK, and the US. At first, people hate her. How dare she kill a war hero? But then the story shifts. Pierre's affair, his cruelty, it all leaks out. By November 1952, the trial's a circus. Her defense plays the crime of passion card, legal back then in France for love triangle killings. She's painted as a victim, betrayed, discarded. The prosecution says it's cold-blooded. 5 shots. No mercy. Yvonne's frail in court, sobbing as she recounts his rejection. The judge digs into it all, and the crowd's hooked. After just 45 minutes, the jury says, "Not guilty." Outside, thousands chant, "Free her!" She walks. It's a shocker. But the public's on her side now. Pierre's the villain in their eyes. Wow, what a ride, right? Yvonne's free, the crowd's cheering, and this wild tale's finally wrapped up. Or has it? After the trial, she took her boys back to the family farm, and the Catholic Church even absolved her of the murder. She tried to move on, but the guilt stuck like glue. Eventually, she packed up, moved to French New Guinea, and spent years as a volunteer nurse for the poor, passing away in the 1970s. It's a heavy ending for a heavy story. So, what do I think? Pierre was a hero once, sure, but man, he treated Yvonne like trash. The affair, the coldness, it's hard to root for him. Yvonne's no saint. Killing someone's never okay. But I get why she snapped. That not guilty verdict? Wild. In the 1950s, France, a crime of passion could let you walk, and it did here. Part of me wonders if justice was really served, or if it was just the public picking sides in a messy love story. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I'd love to hear what you think. Was Yvonne a victim or a villain? Did Pierre deserve it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. If you like this, hit that like button and subscribe for more crazy cases. Oh, and if you missed my Guy George video, the link's right there. Check it out. That's it for now. See you next time with another wild true crime tale. So, Yvonne's free. But what happens next? Let's dive into the aftermath. After that insane not guilty verdict in November 1952, Yvonne didn't just ride off into the sunset. She grabbed her boys, Mateo and the younger one, and headed back to her family's farm near Orléans. The Catholic Church stepped in, granting her absolution for the murder. Pretty big deal in a religious country like France. You'd think that'd be her fresh start, but it wasn't that simple. The press wouldn't let go. Her name was plastered everywhere, tied to this notorious crime of passion. People stared, whispered. Normal life? Out of reach. Yvonne couldn't shake the guilt either. Killing Pierre, even after everything he'd done, weighed on her. So, she made a bold move. Sometime in the late 1950s, she packed up, took her sons, and left France for French New Guinea, a remote spot halfway across the world. There, she threw herself into work, volunteering as a nurse in a hospital for the poor. No fame, no spotlight, just quiet penance until she died in the 1970s. Her boys grew up far from the chaos, but you've got to wonder how that day in 1951 shaped them. The case left a mark on France, too. It sparked debates about love, loyalty, and the law. That crime of passion rule? People started questioning it. Should jealousy really excuse murder? It's still a hot topic in true crime circles today. Pierre's legacy took a hit. War hero or not, he's remembered as much for his betrayal as his bravery. Yvonne, she's a polarizing figure, a victim to some, a killer to others. This story's stuck around because it's messy, human, and real. What do you think it says about love and justice? Let me know. I'm all ears.